Module 7, News Sources. A news source is a person, organization, or publication that reports news. News sources can be found in a variety of formats, including newspapers, magazines, websites, television, and radio. There are many different types of news sources, and each has its own strengths and weaknesses. Some of the most common types of news sources include traditional news organizations. These include newspapers, magazines, and television and radio networks. Traditional news organizations have a long history of reporting news, and they often have well-established reputations for accuracy and objectivity. However, traditional news organizations can be expensive to operate, and they may be less agile than newer news sources. Online news sources. These include websites that report news. Online news sources are often more up-to-date than traditional news organizations, and they can be more cost-effective. However, online news sources may not have the same level of editorial oversight as traditional news organizations. Social media. Social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook can be a source of news. Social media can be a good way to get breaking news, and it can also be a way to connect with other people who are interested in the same news stories. However, social media can also be a source of misinformation, and it is important to be critical of the information that you see on social media. When choosing a news source, it is important to consider the following factors. Accuracy. The news source should be accurate and truthful. Objectivity. The news source should be objective and unbiased. Timeliness. The news source should be timely and up-to-date. Clarity. The news source should be clear and easy to understand. Reliability. The news source should be reliable and trustworthy. It is also important to be aware of your own biases when choosing a news source. Everyone has biases, and it is important to be aware of how your biases might affect the way you interpret news stories. There are many different news sources available, and it is important to find news sources that you trust and that meet your needs. By being informed about the different types of news sources and by considering the factors listed above, you can make an informed decision about where to get your news. Module 8, Headline Writing. News headline writing is the process of crafting concise and attention-grabbing titles or headlines for news articles. Headlines are designed to quickly communicate the main point or essence of a news story, enticing readers to click on the article or engage with the content. Effective headline writing requires a balance between accuracy, clarity, and the ability to capture the interest of the target audience. Here are some key aspects of news headline writing. Conciseness. Headlines are typically brief, containing only a few words or a short phrase. They aim to convey the essential information of the news story in a succinct manner. By using concise language, headlines maximize impact and ensure that readers can quickly grasp the main idea. Accuracy. Headlines should accurately reflect the content of the news story. They should provide a clear and truthful summary of the key points or events covered in the article. Misleading or sensationalized headlines can undermine the credibility of the news organization and misinform readers. Clarity. Headlines need to be easily understood by readers. They should avoid jargon, complex terminology, or ambiguous wording. Clarity is essential to ensure that the headline effectively communicates the central message of the news story and captures the reader's attention. Capturing attention. Headlines must be attention-grabbing to compete for readers' limited attention. They often employ techniques such as using strong action verbs, posing questions, invoking curiosity, or including numbers and statistics. By piquing the reader's curiosity or appealing to their interests, headlines can entice them to read the full article. Tone and voice. The tone and voice of a headline depend on the nature of the news story and the target audience. It can range from neutral and objective to more emotive or engaging, depending on the news organization's style and the topic at hand. Headlines may also adopt a specific tone to align with the overall branding or editorial stance of the news outlet. SEO considerations. In the digital age, Search engine optimization, SEO, plays a role in headline writing. Online headlines may incorporate keywords or key phrases that can improve the visibility of the article in search engine results. However, it's important to balance SEO considerations with the need for accurate and compelling headlines. Here are some tips on how to write news headlines. Start with the most important information. The headline should tell the reader what the story is about in as few words as possible. Use strong verbs. Headlines should be active and engaging. Use strong verbs to capture the reader's attention. Be clear and concise. Headlines should be clear and easy to understand. Avoid using jargon or technical terms that the reader may not understand. Be accurate and truthful. Headlines should be accurate and truthful. Avoid making any claims that are not supported by the facts. Be creative and original. Headlines should be creative and original. Try to come up with headlines that are memorable and attention-grabbing. Here are some additional tips for writing news headlines. Use the 5 Ws. The headline should answer the 5 Ws: who, what, when, where, and why. This will help to ensure that the reader has all of the information they need to understand the story. Use active voice. Headlines should be written in active voice, rather than passive voice. This will make the headline more engaging and easier to understand. Use present tense. Headlines should be written in present tense, rather than past tense. This will make the headline feel more immediate and urgent. Use short words. Headlines should be written using short words, rather than long words. This will make the headline easier to read and understand. Use strong adjectives. Headlines can be made more interesting by using strong adjectives. This will help to capture the reader's attention and to create a more vivid image in the reader's mind. Avoid clichés. Headlines should avoid clichés. Clichés are overused phrases that can make the headline seem boring or unoriginal. Proofread your headlines. Before you submit your headline, be sure to proofread it carefully for any errors in grammar or spelling. Here are some examples of good news headlines. Earthquake hits Japan, tsunami warning issued. Trump declares national emergency to build border wall. Hurricane Dorian makes landfall in Florida. Shooting at Las Vegas Strip leaves dozens dead. Apple announces new iPhone 10. These headlines are all clear, concise, and attention-grabbing. They use strong verbs and active voice, and they answer the 5 Ws. They are also original and creative, and they avoid clichés.